Toxic family body shaming prompts heartbreaking breakup with fiancé. I don't think I can marry him because of his family. I know people will say that I am crazy, but my gut tells me I am right. This was supposed to be the first time I am meeting his parents. He has 2 sisters, mom and dad. I was excited to meet my future in-laws. But it shattered. Few days ago, I met his family. Some things about them just didn't sit right with me. His mom is very possessive about him. Like the first thing she said when she saw me was, "So you are the lady that keeps my son busy." I know it sounds like a joke, but she said it in a condescending tone. Throughout the entire gathering, she was trying to avoid me. She would get irritated whenever I got closer to my fiancé. She made one very mean comment when I asked her for a piece of pie she made. She said I will not be able to fit in my dress if I eat any more of it. She deliberately made me sit far away from him so that she could sit beside him. I knew she didn't like me, but I tolerated that. But she was way too harsh on her oldest daughter. She keeps making comments like, "When are you getting married?" and if she still can't get over Ben, her bil. The thing is, Mia, oldest daughter, used to date Ben until he dumped her to be with the younger sister, Jen. Jen isn't very nice either. She was mean to Mia and kept bugging her to get a husband. Mia is 33. I don't think she needs to rush. Jen also didn't like me because she made some snide remarks about my upbringing. I grew up in an abusive household. I had to struggle a lot. Whereas my fiancé came from a well-to-do family. His dad didn't speak much. He didn't say anything and just nodded. The only normal person there was Mia because she just kept to herself. But nonetheless, I did not feel very welcomed by them. I just had this gut feeling that if I get married, this will be my whole life. I would always have to be in competition with his mother. But he is so nice and sweet. I never felt so in love with anyone like I did with him. He brings me flowers, he takes care of me, he treats me like a queen. But I do not like his family at all. I broke it off with him. He was understandably sad. He asked for a reason. I just told him I didn't feel good about our relationship, that we are not compatible. There were tears, but I left. Now I am sitting in my aunt's house writing this. One moment I felt like calling him and telling him I had cold feet. We are perfect together. We earn well, we have similar hobbies, and we are sexually compatible. But this one thing about him just bugs me a lot. I am heartbroken. I know I don't deserve to be because I was the one who called it off. Update. I talked to his sister Mia. I just talked to his sister Mia on the phone. It was a surprise to me that she wanted to talk. She got the news of us breaking up and asked if we could talk on the phone. I agreed. I was desperate to hear any news from him. We talked for like an hour or so. It was mostly her telling me how her family was toxic. That I made the right decision because her mom had a weird obsession with her baby boy. Also, she doesn't know why she is the black sheep of her family. She was not adopted, nor was she an affair child. She also mentioned her mother was a bit of racist because of where I came from. Overall, that day she wanted to warn me. I asked why my ex doesn't treat her right. She said my ex is in delusion that they have a picture-perfect home, but he doesn't realize how toxic his mother is. She did bring it up with him and he just said that they are family. So families shouldn't hold grudges. Honestly, I felt bad for her. She also said she will be going NC with her family. She thought she could salvage their relationship and let them be a part of her life, but she decided she doesn't want that. She also shared some personal information about her relationship status and future. But I do not want to share that. It's not my place to share it. But she told me to meet him and tell him the truth. He deserves to know why I don't want to be a part of his family. He needs to hear the truth. I will be meeting him tomorrow. And yeah, as a lot of you guys requested, I will give an update to you guys. Update. I broke up with my fiancé because of his family. Hello guys, I promise I will come back with an update. I did it. I finally talked to him. I told him everything that I mentioned in the post. and also about my feelings for his family, especially how they are treated Mia. Needless to say, he was upset. He tried to convince me this is all in my head, that I shouldn't throw away our relationship because of his family. His family will accept me if I become a part of it. I tried to explain things from my own perspective, but he wasn't budging. Then the topic of Mia came. He said it is unfair that even his sister is abandoning the family. He mentioned Mia's big news and she said she doesn't want to be a part of their family. I told him I knew about it because I talked to Mia. That seemed to upset him even more. He is pissed that Mia shared her news to me before his family. I got angry and told him this is exactly why I do not want to be a part of his family. Her mother has made racist comments to me. I'm half Bengali. His mother treated me like an outsider and didn't make me feel welcome. His family is very toxic. I grew up in a toxic family. I don't want to die in one. Maybe someday he will find a woman his mother approves of, but that woman is not me. We had a big fight. He was obviously defending his family. He was not willing to listen what I had to say. Overall, he was very dismissive. We ended our conversation in a very bad note. I am sad about it. Aside from his family drama, he was a good guy. But I don't think I can handle his family. Because you don't just marry one person. You marry their entire family. They didn't even bother to know me at all. So that's the update. Woman doesn't let BF around her pets after his parents reveal his sociopathic past. Asks, should I move in with him? AITA for not wanting my boyfriend around my pets? I, a 24-year-old woman, have been dating my 23-year-old boyfriend for 2 years. We met at an animal shelter while I was searching to adopt my now third dog. Our mutual love for animals initially brought us together. We conversed for several months before officially starting our relationship, and I met his parents soon after we became a couple. Though we do not reside together, we frequently visit each other. We discussed the possibility of living together but decided to give it more time before making that commitment. Eventually, we agreed it was time to take that step. I went to his parents' house while he was at work to discuss the matter with them. They seemed pleased that we were taking our relationship seriously. However, their demeanor changed when I mentioned that I live with several pets. I have 3 dogs, 2 cats, and a turtle. Their expressions shifted, and they inquired whether their son was aware of them and if I trusted him to care for them. It was an unsettling question, but nothing prepared me for the disconcerting looks they exchanged after I responded. His mother revealed that they had refrained from having pets because their son had a history of harming animals during his teenage years. His father added he wouldn't have a reason to do it, he would just do it and then discard them. I was horrified and struggled to comprehend their revelations. They proceeded to recount stories of their past pets, explaining that the harmful behavior ceased when he turned 17, leading them to believe he had outgrown it. I thanked them for informing me and promptly departed. Despite my continued love for him, I'm uncertain about my feelings now. I postponed the idea of moving in together, citing the imminent end of my lease as a reason to wait. He has expressed a desire to visit, but I've declined. On occasions when I have allowed him to visit, I've arranged for a friend to oversee my pets. He has inquired about them, expressing his fondness and bringing food and toys for them. However, I feel guilty for not wanting him near them. When he does visit and I can't find a pet sitter, I monitor him closely and take extra precautions to keep my pets away from him. Since learning about his past from his parents, I've been haunted by the fear that one day he might harm my pets. Thus far, he has exhibited no signs of wanting to hurt them. In fact, he has been affectionate and caring towards them, and one of my cats even sits on his lap when he's around. Despite this, I can't shake the fear and now prefer to keep him away from them. Ida? Update. When we first met at the animal shelter, I was there to adopt my third dog. He happened to be a volunteer, and he's been involved with various shelters over time. When I jokingly asked him why he hadn't adopted a pet himself, he replied it wouldn't be very convenient for the dog. When I pressed for an explanation, he mentioned because I spend a lot of time taking care of other dogs and it might get jealous. That's his reasoning behind not having pets of his own. During my initial meeting with his parents, I did mention where we met, but their reaction was rather nonchalant. They simply responded with an "oh, that's nice," and didn't delve further. They seemed somewhat hesitant about the shelter aspect, but they didn't inquire further, and we moved on to basic conversation topics like my job and how their son was treating me. I've rarely interacted with his parents without him, and they're unaware of his involvement with animal shelters. He's mentioned that his parents used to punish him frequently when he was younger, citing, "I did a lot of dumb stuff back then, and they weren't shy about disciplining me." As far as I know, he's never sought therapy for any issues stemming from his upbringing. We typically ask each other for permission before visiting, which we view as a matter of common courtesy. We both lead separate lives with different schedules and activities, so it's important to respect each other's space. I wouldn't appreciate it if he showed up unannounced, and vice versa. He's mentioned that he previously had a few pets that have since passed away. I don't recall the specifics of how they died because he seemed visibly upset, and I didn't want to pry. He treats my pets kindly and often asks to spend time with them. Sometimes he'll even request to come over just to play with my dogs. Additionally, when asked why he volunteers at shelters, he explained, "I simply want to help animals. I love them and enjoy spending time with them. It's a win-win-win situation for me." Furthermore, he mentioned that he began volunteering at shelters at the age of 18 and has continued to do so since then. He moved out of his parents' house at 19 and doesn't maintain frequent contact with them. What do you think? Is OP overreacting?